Well, to begin with, it's not very clear whether the referendum is going to take place because things are changing so rapidly, and Tsipras has put forward a new proposal, and if the new proposal goes through, or at least it's going to be examined or taken seriously, the referendum is no longer on the table. Besides, the referendum would be about something which is not longer being discussed. A couple of days ago, the EU said that those proposals were no longer valid, so they took them back. Now, the referendum refers to those proposals. So why having a referendum about something which has become irrelevant? So basically, I think if the referendum goes ahead, which would be nonsense, but we're going through a lot of nonsense these days. If the referendum goes through, it is going to be a referendum about Tsipras rather than about the euro or the Greek situation. So it's becoming more of a political, in my view, more of a political referendum rather than a referendum about the economics and the economy of Greece. Well, there are two possibilities. If they vote, well, of course, if the no wins, that means that Greece will have to quit the euro to be consistent with the no. But in order to quit the euro, they should actually quit the European Union because there are no separate treaties. It's an all or nothing story. So technically, they should quit. They should get out of the treaties, which means get out of the euro and get out of the European Union, and then apply again to join the union, which sounds a bit cumbersome. So it's not technically, legally, it is really fussy, and practically they will have to print drachmas anyway because they will be running out. They're already out of euros right now, so if they don't get money in a couple of days, they will have to print drachmas. Well, in my view, it will have two, say, lessons. One is that the euro is no longer going to be an implicit guarantee for public debt in the EU countries. So countries like, say, Italy, France, Portugal will have to wake up because, well, the Greek example will show that the European Central Bank will not do everything it takes to bail out their debtors. The second message, which is more, let's say, in a long-term vision, is that this is going to be the end of the euro as a political project. And so if the euro survives, it remains a technical issue, which means a choice about monetary policy, which means a choice about interest rates and exchange rates. So the euro might stay on, but as a technical choice. And I'm not sure whether, all current Eurozone countries are happy to go along without a political design behind it. No, it is not inevitable. If the European Central Bank keeps bailing them out, Greece will stay in. Of course, it's questionable that the same problem is not going to come to the surface again in a few months. I mean, you're not going, even if the euro authorities are going to accept the last proposal put forward by Tsipras, which is actually a photocopy of the proposal that the European authorities themselves had put forward a couple of days ago, actually a week ago, more or less. So even if that happens, I have my doubts that the Greek economy is going to grow rapidly immediately, that the debt to GDP ratio is going to drop. So my guess is that, yes, if new money goes to Athens, Athens will stay in the euro for a few more months. But then, the bankruptcy problem will emerge once again. So they will have, say, some breathing space in order to do what they should have been doing during the past 6 months. That is, basically define by how much the Greek debt is going to be forgiven, so to speak, or forgotten, if you prefer. If suppose that the referendum goes through, if the yes wins, then Tsipras has a personal problem because he has been elected with a different agenda. So if he were consistent with his own beliefs and his own promises, he should resign, and that would open a political crisis in Greece, which would add to the problems. If the yes wins and Tsipras does not resign, he's going to count less than nothing in Europe because he's going to be a delegitimized leader. So whether we like it or not, Tsipras has really destroyed himself politically, and that is bad news for Greece in a way, because that means that nowadays Greece has an option between chaos or having the technocrats from Brussels and Frankfurt telling them what to do and running the show. I'm afraid that the Greeks are going to resent that. If that happens, it's going to be chaos anyway. So the outlook is not bright. I mean, we can have some breathing space in terms of financial support, but the political situation in Greece is going to be really, really tense.